Hey guys, Recruiter Preston here, and in this video, I want to talk about something that I really resonate with, and I hope that you can find value from it. So in this particular episode, I want to be able to share how I was able to make millions on my own desk when I first started out my solo recruitment agency career, and how I did all of that manually with no automation, no AI, no software. And to kind of get into the story, I got to take a couple steps back and just share with you more of the context. So if you guys are watching me for the first time, I really appreciate it. I'm a professional recruiter, now scaling my agency. We're going to take you back in time. I had a first job in 2014 as a recruiter, worked my way up, and in 2015, I decided at that point to start my own business. So when I started in 2015, sure, there were still a lot of other tools and products and software out there. You can argue, hey, today's 2024, there's a lot more AI options, automation options. Yes, that's fine. But there were also options back then. When I started, a couple things I want to make very clear. Number one, I didn't really have any money, right? So people who are like, oh my God, I don't have that much money. I can't really start a successful 360 recruitment desk, or I can't kickstart my agency as a side hustle or full business. That's completely false, because I did that borrowing my fiance's credit card. I had zero money. And second, people are like, hey, for me to be successful, I have to spend X amount per month to buy all these automation AI tools, et cetera, et cetera. That's also completely false, because I'm about to share with you my personal story where I was able to start my recruitment agency with literally zero automation, AI, ATS. I made no effort to do that. In my first year as a solo recruiter, I did about 24 placements, I think. I was able to kind of do a little over $524,000 in billings on my own desk, super high margin. And then I was able to do that really minimum 500, 520 every single year to present day. Now, the first 4 or 6 years that's relevant to this video, I used no automation. How was I able to do that? I was able to do that with a couple things. So number one, most importantly, I had a really strong understanding and mastery of the recruiting fundamentals, right? The way that I approach recruiting and the way I help other people approach recruiting is, while AI, automation, all that is great, you shouldn't rely on that, right? You shouldn't rely on these tools. You shouldn't rely on communities. You shouldn't rely on all these platforms, because if you do, you're not really learning the fundamentals, okay? I still fundamentally believe that in 2024, right now, you can still make a lot of money, be extremely profitable doing things manually. As also another reference point, we literally just connected with a small staffing firm, I think in the Southeast. They had about a team of 5 or 6. The funny thing is, they share with me that they're doing...
Are you struggling with getting responses from clients? Are you an established recruiter who is struggling to break 6 figures and beyond? Are you looking to start recruiting part-time and you don't know how? Do you feel burned out and stuck spending hours and hours each day in manual tasks like sourcing and outreaching, and feeling like you have no time to actually run and grow your business? I am absolutely happy to announce that we have launched our own recruitment, educational, and coaching program to help you on your journey. We made sure that everything I've learned in the past 10 years, the tips, the strategies that really helped me build multiple 7 figures of placements on my own desk with some of the best companies in the world, will be included in there. We'll also be including things like how you can build an acquisition system that brings in clients every month to your agency hands-free, how you can maximize the probability of a positive close during negotiations, how you can automate and outsource your day-to-day operations so that you don't have to spend hours per day researching or sourcing, how you can figure out the new and modern way to scale your agency that minimizes risk and maximizes your upside potential. And we've also included much, much more. The best thing about this is not only will you be getting amazing content, but we will also handhold you and be with you every step of the way to make sure that you are held accountable and you crush your goals. We'll also share with you our own tech stack, tools and plugins we actually use, plus everything else we know about automation and AI to help you save time, work smarter, and not be a slave to your business. The exciting news is that we've actually rolled this out to a select few people earlier this year, and I'm excited to see them well on the way to multiple 6 figures, with some breaking $30,000 to $50,000 per month already. So if you're interested to be a successful recruiter that can dominate in any market conditions, make sure you click on the link below to chat with another member of our team, and we're happy to chat with you to see if we can help you out. Make sure you jump on this really quickly. See you on the other side.
At the peak, these guys are doing like almost $3 million in revenue. That's really, really, really impressive. And the funny thing is, they share with me that they're doing everything manual. No systems, no processes, no workflows. And I know so many of these stories over and over and over again. The reason why they're able to do that is they have just a strong strong understanding of the fundamentals. With me, if you want to come into recruiting, you have to learn the mastery of the basics. You have to learn how to play golf, if you will, or play tennis. You can't just rely on a machine or software, because the second you do that, then the second you start relying, you give power to other things instead of having it yourself. And if these things, you wake up one day, they just disappear, you're going to fall straight down. So another analogy, if you don't like sports, is I want to teach people and make sure you all know how to fly using your wings. Because if you're able to do that, if you land on a branch, if that branch snaps, you're not going to start from scratch over and over and over again. Okay? So learn how to do it properly. And then once you establish a strong foundation, then of course, automation and software and AI definitely helps, but it's not going to replace you as a recruiter. It's not going to do everything for you. And if you rely on that, there's going to be significant skills or knowledge gaps or significant money left on the table that you just don't know what you don't know, right? And so when I talk to people now and they're like, hey, I don't have the budget for tools, I'm like, that's fine. I mean, tools right now is super helpful. Like if you have a budget, there's no reason why you should be spending more than a couple to several $100s a month max on tools, platforms, products. I was talking to another person who's like, I'm spending like $4,000 to $5,000 a month on tools. And that just completely shocked me, because he couldn't even make $50,000 a year, let alone 20 or 30. He was actually losing a ton of money every month. My bottom jaw literally went to the floor. I'm like, I don't even know how you could even just spend that much per month. I mean, you must have just gone on Google and searched random recruiting tools and bought every single one of them. So like when I hear these stories, it just like really confuses and shocks me, because if I were to start all over again, I can start and still be successful in 2024 with just Google Sheets, Google Excel, and maybe LinkedIn. That's it. That's what I started in 2015, and I can do that again. Do I recommend you should do that? No, but if, again, based on your situation and based on your budget, if that's all you can do, then you got to make the best of it, right? But I am really frustrated from all the other advice I'm hearing, people saying, hey, if you want to be successful, if you want to make a lot of money, you need to invest in all these different tools. And like, that's great, but I would hope that you do that secondarily. It's more of a supplemental to your core knowledge. I think that if you're coming with zero experience into recruiting, you got to learn how to be a badass recruiter first. If you're coming from the corporate internal side, you really got to learn how to master the sales and lead generation side. If you're coming from like another agency job, chances are hoping you have 360 experience, but if you don't, you might just have to level up a lot of these kind of skill gaps that might be kind of apparent in your skill set that you just don't know what you don't know, right? And then if you're someone who, thinks that, hey, I don't need to learn anything new when you're working 10, 20, 30 years as a recruiter, that's fine. Are you happy with your overall billings per year? Because we talk to, people who are recruiting for 6 months who are outbilling people who've been recruiting for 20, 40 years. And so I think while my point, I'm trying to be crystal clear that you can be successful knowing the fundamentals and fundamentals only, it significantly helps moving forward for you to adapt, because technology is there for a reason. It helps us save hours per day. It helps us save hours per week. It allows me to work essentially less, but still make the same or more than my 2015 version. And that's only going to get better and better and better. So we constantly test every single kind of whatever time we have per week on new tools and new software, but fundamentally it hasn't changed. And when even people come and join my team on my agency, we make sure that their mastery of the fundamentals is first and foremost a priority. And if that's done, we're then able to kind of build on top of that. You can't build a house without building the foundation. Build that foundation first, build a house, and then you can kind of have fun with all these other side-ons and plugins and tools and things like that. So obviously now we are incorporating a lot more automation AI, but I want to kind of make just this one-off video and share with you that if you think you can't be successful because you can't afford X, Y, and Z tools, or you can only be successful if you have a bunch of teams and all these automations, that's again completely false. Recruiting is one of those things where people want to have an agency, or what they think an agency means is like a lot of employees, right? Recruiting is one of those things where if you're able to master the basics as a solo recruiter without having any employees, life can be amazing. Can you imagine for a second being able to bill like $200,000 to $700,000? I know people who do $1 million a year with no team, just them themselves. Can you imagine just doing that without paying for or worrying about employees on your team, and all that profit margin is going into your pocket, right? Rather than having to kind of spend on new talent or tools. Like, isn't that amazing? And I totally am also aware of the other argument saying, well, you basically have a high paying job. I'm like, yes, you do, but you work for yourself, making multiple six figures. Isn't that a great place most people want to be first before they even think about scaling employees? So don't waste money in the beginning on employees. Don't waste money on thousands of dollars per month on tools. Learn the fundamentals, and there's a lot more to recruiting than what you see on YouTube and Gmail. Of course, we here try to be as honest and transparent as possible, but it's a business at the end of the day, and there's only so much that we can cover as much as we're trying our best here on YouTube, right? So you can go down a YouTube hole and Google hole, and it can be very, very overwhelming with conflicting advice, information, tools, recommendations, platforms. And so keep it simple. If you want to be recruiting or you're already in recruiting, try to understand where are your skill sets, where are they deficient, where are they lacking, and how can you basically up that and fill in the gaps. And then you too can, first make $50,000 a year as a goal, maybe 100,000, and then just shoot for the moon. If you learn how to do things once, you'll never forget it. So take the time, focus, learn it properly now. Your future self will thank you. And so I hope that you really like this video, take value from it. If you want to see more like this, please let me know. But otherwise, appreciate it so much. And we'll see you on next one.